good evening, people. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, that's not a very enthusiastic woo. Because I'm kind of in a mood. I'm not in a funny mood. Uh that's for sure. But I'm not in a mood to like complain really either. There's been stuff that's been kind of weighing pretty heavy on my heart, in my mind lately. And uh I want to talk about that. Um and and once in a while I kind of feel the need to do streams like this. And I'm not sure if I've done one since covering this case, but it seems like every case that I've ever been really passionate about, something like this ends up having to be necessary. Jen O, member for 7 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. What's up, Mizzy? It's good to see you. And I saw LV Cops in here earlier. Good to see you guys. Whichever one of you guys it is, since nobody said Gonzo or I'm expecting it's our producer friend. So now, but any one of those three guys, I am always happy to hear from and always happy to see. So welcome, guys. It's good to see you. So yeah, there's stuff that's going on within this community. And I wouldn't say like the community's falling apart or anything like that. That's not where I'm at. Clever, get out of there, please. Go lay down. Thank you. Oh my God. Yes, I'm happy to see you, Cherry. Yes, I'm very happy to see you. So I don't even really know how to start this or get into it. I guess the best way to do it, the most probably the most honest way to go about it, if I want people to be comfortable, I guess the best way is just to kind of let my own guard down a little bit. I've always been very open about my own issues. I haven't really talked about my experiences struggling with certain mental health issues. The only things that I know that I've ever been diagnosed with is severe depression and ADHD. You know, it's something that I've always dealt with as a kid. But for me, you know, and I've always been very open about, you know, the fact that I've you know, taken steps to manage these things. And I would even venture to guess that there are things that I struggle with that I've never even been diagnosed with. But, you know, then again, I'm also of the opinion that, you know, there are certain doctors, if you go to them, then, you know, they're just going to try to diagnose you with everything they can so they could prescribe you more medicine. And, you know, at the end of the day, a doctor is technically just a glorified drug dealer, frankly. But it's not to say that their help isn't necessary from time to time. That's why they exist. That's why that takes a lot of schooling to to become a doctor, become a mental health professional, or anything of that nature. Um, and the there's a lot of behavior that I've been seeing take place within the community, and yes, there are certain things that I've seen take place with certain people, um, which inspired this live stream. I'm not going to lie about that. But what I'm not going to do is discuss those people and their issues, because I'm not qualified to discuss those issues necessarily, um, or to even discuss what I think your solution should be or their solution should be. Clever, come on, get away from there. Thank you, Cherry. Appreciate it. Go lie down. Go lay down, please. Go lay down. So I'm not going to get into this. Is not going to be a drama stream. Um, I'm going to open up the phone lines at some point, and allow people to share their thoughts and share their opinions. But I'll tell you right now, if you start talking about somebody else's personal issues, I'm gonna take it as gossip, and I'm gonna just hang up on you when that happens. So I want to be very clear that we all have our issues that we struggle with, but sometimes these things are very overwhelming. And the thing about like my mental health issues, I can't tell when something is going to, and I hate using words like trigger, it really annoys me. But you learn what sets these things off, and you try to avoid these things, or if sometimes these things that set you off are inevitable. They're unavoidable. You can't avoid them, and so you have to learn how to manage them. I'm a strong believer in, if you can't handle people talking about you on the internet, then don't go on the internet. I'm a strong believer in that. I'm a strong believer that everyone who is struggling with manageable mental health issues are responsible for themselves. And oh, look, the good Nunya. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's good to see you. Sure. That is absolutely true, the good Nunya. So this case, I have been very involved in it. More involved in this case than any other case that I've ever covered. I have said this many times. What's up, Olivia Nile? It's good to see you. I've been involved in this case more than any other case that I've ever covered. What's up, Richie? It's good to see you, buddy. And it has it I have times where it becomes overwhelming for me, and it's crazy, because the case itself is enough to, if you're passionate about justice, if you're passionate about free speech, if you're passionate about uh domestic abuse, if you're passionate, there's all kinds of issues that if you're passionate about it, this case is going to have something that is going to have some element of this that's going to really, really upset you. Um, and so just this case alone, and getting into all of the details of it and all of the facts of the case and everything, that can fuck with your head. And because of all of the ins and outs of the case, that can become very overwhelming and hard to manage. And before you know it, if you're the type of person who just lets themselves get immersed in something and they go down rabbit holes, and a lot of us, we like to go down these rabbit holes because they're fun, because we have time on our hands, and because they're fun. But I make no mistake that these types of interests can become obsessions. And it's really, really, really important. This is why I'm going live about this, because I am pleading with each and every single person who hears this. If you need to take a break, take a break. If covering this or talking about this or exploring this case is affecting your life outside of the internet, it's not worth it. Okay? I don't know how more I don't know how more plainly I can put that. I have no idea how to put that more plainly. If this is affecting you, like if it's affecting your relationships with your significant other, your children, God forbid, your parents, your in-laws, whatever, it's okay to just step away. And no super chat song right now because I'm not in a funny mood right now. Let's stay on task here, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, Jessica. These platforms are what helps me feel better about the injustice going on. Been a pretty silent watcher for a long time, but thought you needed to hear that you are helpful and needed. From Seattle. Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that. And you're making a really good point, because this can actually, like, this is where it gets dangerous, because some people will convince themselves that it's helpful. But if you're not realizing, and you start to find yourself in a position to where you are thinking, you know, uh where people are telling you, people in your life are going, hey, this is affecting my life, this is affecting me, it's affecting my job, because you're out there protesting and you're out there showing up to places, and then people are showing up to my job or calling my job trying to get me fired. And I don't even know anything about Karen Reed. I don't give a shit about Karen Reed. I don't fucking know about Karen Reed or John O'Keefe. I don't fucking know anything about this. And yet I'm here letting you, because you feel passionate and you are into something, then cool. But why the fuck can't I just go to work and have a good day at work? Why does that shit have to affect me? And this could very well happen to a lot of people. Like, I'm trying to tell you guys that if you are, this is my overall point. If you are thinking, well, Karen needs all of the support that she can get, right? If you're sitting there thinking Karen needs all the support she can get, and I have now a responsibility because I tweeted a bunch of times, we ain't got no quit. I blasted on Facebook a bunch of times, we ain't got no quit. I went on a YouTube channel a bunch of times and I said, we ain't got no quit. Okay, cool. That's okay. That's great. But the thing is nobody is telling you, and if they are, they're an asshole, by the way. But nobody is telling you that if you if you have a child who has a swim meet or a soccer game or a recital of some sort, and there's a standout the same day, and it would mean the world to your child to be at this function to support them, Karen Reed should come second to that. That is my personal opinion, and I stand by it. Karen Reed's going to be okay. All right. Now, the support is necessary. It's helpful and it's necessary. But you as an individual, if you are having a problem with your life because of your support for Karen Reed, then you're not doing anything to really help Karen Reed. And you're not doing anything to help your family, that's for sure. And you're definitely not doing anything to help yourself. The reason why I feel so inspired by the people who have been taking on this passion for this case, the reason why I have identified with them so much, the reason why I have admired them, grown to respect and admire these people, is because there's the illusion that every single person out there standing in front of the courthouse or going to Canton Select Board meetings or going to standouts, I am under the impression that all of these people are have their lives together and everything is fine and they can find the time to do this and they manage their lives just fine, and then they find the time to put in to this instead of sitting in front of the TV and watching soap operas and game shows. They're going out to these standouts. Cool, awesome, but you're not doing anyone any good if you are hurting yourself in the process and fucking up relationships with your immediate loved ones. That is hurting yourself. Make no mistake about that. You are hurting yourself. And I would never presume to speak for Karen Reed herself or any member of her family or anybody in her camp. I would never presume to do that. But the kind of people that I have, that the impression that I got from any of these people, I would assume that they would not want you to do this either. They're grateful for the support. That's the impression I've always gotten, that they're just simply grateful for the support. I'm simply grateful for your support. If you want to super chat me because you love the content and you want to support the channel, I am so grateful. But if your kid needs a fucking retainer or a $20 admission fee for a field trip that they're supposed to take, and it's one or the other, dude, take care of what you got to take care of. I'm gonna be okay one way or the other. If I gotta clean toilets to fucking pay my rent, I will fucking do that. I have never been above any job ever. I am more than okay with supporting myself and breaking my back to do it. I have always been willing to do that. I have done it and I will do it. And I have always visualized myself doing it until the day that I die. But I'm always going to be okay. I don't need your $20 more than your kid does. Karen Reed does not need your donations any more than your kid does. That is a guarantee. So yeah, I mean, that's true. Um, yeah, and it's yeah, I'm gonna be looking at chat quite a bit too, so um the Gannon case fucked with me too, Mama Bear. A lot. The Gannon case really, really fucked with me. Really, really, like it really affected me. Um, I mean, we're talking about an 11-year-old kid whose stepmother murdered him in the most brutal possible way that a kid could be murdered. Um, and covering crime cases, it becomes you become so clouded, like look at what the because I don't give a fuck what anybody says. A lot of it's politics, most of it's politics, but the true crime genre that's such a hype now in our society definitely has played into how society looks at this CEO, this insurance CEO who was shot. I mean, people, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. The bottom line is this man had a family and he was going to work every day, making ends meet and doing whatever he had to do to make a living. Somebody's got to do it. There's insurance companies. There's got to be somebody to run the fucking insurance companies. It is what it is. Now, you may not like the way he does it, and maybe the way he does it is shitty, but it is not up to you to just go up to somebody and shoot him in the back because you got a gripe with them. And the people who cheer this on because he's an insurance CEO, completely dismissing the idea of how his family is feeling about this and how this is affecting every single person in his life who's just getting up every day and going to do whatever the fuck they got to do every day. Now it's got to be even harder because not only are they having to manage life with all this fucked up publicity when they did nothing to merit it, all this publicity that they don't even want, while trying to manage the grief of losing their loved one. The rock and pillar of their family, most likely, who everyone looked up to and everyone considered to be the rock of that family. Chances are that's the case. So when I see these faceless, nameless jackasses on the internet talking about he got what he deserved, how do you know? Did you know him? Did you know that guy? Have you walked a second in his shoes? 1 second. Do you know what the ins and outs of his job are every day? What he had to do in order, what his process was for making decisions? Do you know for a fact that every single decision that he made was motivated by money? I mean, it's fair to speculate that, sure. But do you know for sure? Who are you to say that someone deserves to fucking die? I'm nobody to do that. And it's annoying, dude, because like there was like and you'll have to forgive me because I'll go on rants here. And there's this whole thing here with let me gonna find it through my notifications here. All right. So let me share this little clip here.
Verdict off the table. She should be acquitted. Episode 3, we've kind of came to the conclusion. You were already there, but now me going through the evolution, asking the questions I've asked, at this point, I've taken off guilty verdict off the table. She should be acquitted, and as you have said multiple times, she shouldn't be tried again. It's too tainted now. There's been too many mix-ups in the storyline. There's been too many questions about the witnesses. At this point, I'm transitioning to what actually happened, because that's really important here. What actually happened to John O'Keefe? But as far as being factually innocent, I'm already there. If I'm a jury member, I'm finding Karen Reed not guilty on all charges. That's where I am. But now I'm trying to figure out who killed John O'Keefe. Was it an accident? Was it intentional?
You don't mean that you don't think Karen Reed could have potentially done this. You just
Correct.
mean in a court of law
Factually
based
innocent.
on what you've seen.
Correct.
Yes.
See, now Stephanie Harlow chimes in here with that. And what she's doing is called damage control. Okay. This dude is very cavalier right now. I don't know this gentleman. I'm familiar with Stephanie Harlow. I'm very familiar with Stephanie Harlow. I respect Stephanie Harlow very much. I always have. But I'm not familiar with her podcast guy. I've listened to, I think I listened to one case that they covered because I was following it. And I listened to him in that case more or less, but not really. He didn't say anything to really grab my attention too much. So I didn't really remember him, but Stephanie Harlow is absolutely fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about her, except what she's doing right here is what's known as damage control. Okay. What's going on here is there's a podcast, and he is being very forthcoming, being very, very clear about what his opinion is. So Stephanie chimes in here like, whoa, wait a second. You mean this? Even though that's not what he said. What he said straight up was, she's factually innocent. If I'm a juror, she's factually innocent. And then she sees an opportunity to go, okay, let's control this so that the people who think she's guilty don't think that we're taking the other side. That's what she's doing here. I mean, it is what it is. There's no question about it. And I'll play it again just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is not, now again, this is my opinion of what I'm taking out of it, because podcasts, larger podcasts that cover a lot of true crime cases, and I explained this in an exchange with Aiden in this thread, and he was like, yeah, this guy had me up until he says this right here.
I think it's still very likely, to be transparent with you guys, that she did do it. She might not even have known she did it, but that doesn't also mean if she did.
So Stephanie Harlow catches him, chimes in, and then he goes,
who killed John O'Keefe? Was it an accident? Was it intentional?
You don't mean that you don't think Karen Reed could have potentially done this. You just
Correct.
mean in a court of law
Factually
based
innocent.
on what you've seen.
Correct.
Yes.
I think it's still very likely, to be transparent with you guys, that she did do it. She might not even have known she did it.
And that's where Aiden says, well, that's where this guy fucking lost me. And I was like, okay, I mean, I get that, because he, he's they're a big podcast. Crime Weekly, I guess, is what they're called. They're a big podcast, and they don't need a whole bunch of trolls going, oh my God, what do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. And they're just trying to avoid that. And in all fairness, not to put Stephanie out there or anything like that, but she's dealing with her own shit that became very public, which I'm very against it being very public. It was not her fault. But her private life got blasted all over the internet, and she's already dealing with those trolls, and it sucks. But she's basically trying to protect her brand and their brand, because this dude was like, whoa, yo, I think she's factually innocent, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, but you're saying, but in a court of law, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, here's my argument against that. Here's my argument against that. This dude is kind of backpedaling here, and he's like, yeah, she could have likely done it. She could have likely done it, But if I'm a juror, then I'm saying no. Okay, let me make this real easy for anybody who took that and didn't understand it for exactly the bullshit that it is, because it is a bullshit statement. And the reason why it's a bullshit statement is because a court of law is the institution where we decide what is and what isn't as a society. As an American society, the institution that we use to decide what is and what isn't, factually determining finally what it is, that is a court of law. That is the institution that decides this. What is and what isn't. Period. So if you're sitting here and saying, if I'm a juror, I'm finding her not guilty, that's because she's not fucking guilty. Not, oh, well, you know, in real life, she could have done it. But in a court of law, I'm going to say not guilty. Bullshit. No. A court of law is the institution that we as a society rely on to determine what is and what isn't beyond a reasonable doubt. Period. That's it. So if you're sitting here saying, if I'm a juror and I'm deciding whether or not Karen Read is guilty or innocent in this case, and I'm deciding she's innocent, well, then you think she's innocent. Period. And I get the argument of, oh, well, you know, it's the way that they handled the case and blah, blah, blah. No, that's why we trust law enforcement to make the right decisions and investigate these things fairly and properly and thoroughly. Plain and simple. That's why we do. And we know that Michael Proctor, because I seriously doubt that this young man has looked into Michael Proctor the way that Turtle Boy has, or even the way that I have, or even the way that Melanie Little has, because if you compare how he handled the Brian Walsh case, which we all believe Brian Walsh is guilty, you look at the way Proctor handled the Brian Walsh case, and you look at the way that he handled the Karen Read case, there's no question of negligence here. It's a question of corruption. Whether or not this dude is corrupt. What's Olivia saying here? Playing devil's avocado. There have been far too many wrongful convictions. Yes, the jurors are fact finders, but it doesn't necessarily make their decision factually accurate. That's fair. Sure. Of course. I'm not saying that the system is perfect. I'm not saying that, but that's a weak argument. If that dude were here talking to me right now and he brought that up, that would be a weak argument, because we're not talking about every other case. We're talking about the Karen Read case and all of the facts that are made available to us, that have been made available to us since before the first trial and during the trial and since. And every single piece of evidence that comes out is exculpatory. So when we're one of these people, now you see how passionate that I just got about that. Just one person. I just wanted to play that clip as an example. Seeing that young man say something like that, for lack of a better term, triggered me. Now, I didn't let everyone on Twitter really know it. I tried to be as, you know, but it made me mad. It made me mad. One of the things about this case that makes me mad the most, because I feel like I'm being gaslit all the time. So one of the things that makes me mad the most is the the lack of transparency with all the facts in this case by mainstream media or bigger podcasts that are just scared to damage their brand or their image or scared of trolls. And, you know, I get that. Like, it makes me mad. It makes me mad. But the thing is if I get to a point, and I know for a fact, I have people in my life like Cherry, who, if I start to just fucking lose my shit, Cherry's going to be there and go, hey, maybe you need to like step back for a second. Maybe you need to take a breather. And if you have people like this in your life, because it is a blessing, listen to them. Listen to them. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Try whatever there is. If there's somebody who you trust, then give them the opportunity, you know, give them a chance, give them the benefit of the doubt, and give whatever suggestion they're trying to present you with. Just give it a try, you know, because I'm seeing it happen. Now, let's take Sean on the Gulf for a second, okay? And the reason why I'm bringing him up is because he doesn't count as far as this. This is why I'm bringing him, because I don't want to confuse anyone here. I don't want anyone to get confused here. This is not the case with Sean on the Gulf. Sean on the Gulf got obsessed with being known and being appreciated. He didn't become obsessed with getting to the bottom of this case. He used the idea of getting to the bottom of this case and used his position as a former DEA agent, used that title to get clout, to get high fives. His mental health issues that it seems like he has, that stuff is brought on by ego. Now, I'm not saying the mental health issues don't exist, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't go out and get help. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the difference between people who go on a downward spiral because their egos are massive, and then the people who go on downward spirals because they are genuinely so passionate about this case. Because it's a good thing that this pisses you off. It is a good thing. It should piss you off. But if you can't manage your anger in this, you should not be doing this. If you cannot manage your anger to if your anger is getting you to a point to where it's affecting your personal life, you should not be doing this. You should not be talking about this. You should not be covering this. Your mental health needs to come first. I don't know how more plainly to put that. Yeah, and if you think Karen owes you something for it, then you're fucked in the head. And when I say fucked in the head, people will be like, you're sitting here talking about mental health and you use terms like fucked in the head. Yes, I'm not talking about somebody with problems. I'm talking about somebody who's an asshole. You're fucked in the head, meaning that there's no coming back from that. You're set in your ways because you're so fucking caught up in your own ego and you're so caught up in getting recognitions and you're focused on this thing for absolutely the wrong reasons. That means you are fucked in the head. And I do not feel sorry for you. Nobody in this owes you shit. Like what I owe you is what I promise you every time. Honesty, transparency, I don't even promise you guys humor. You guys might log on here to laugh and have a good time. Cool. I'm glad you do, because I tend to be funny, and I'm grateful that I have that blessing to where I can find humor in things in a way that many people can't. I'm glad. I'm grateful for that blessing. Absolutely. But I don't promise you that. Make no mistake about that. I don't promise you that. I'm not being funny right now. But you'll always get honesty, transparency, genuine passion. The day that I'm not passionate about this case anymore is the day that I stop talking about it. Like, that's where, and like I'm doing what I can to manage my mental health. I quoted a post on Twitter. I think it was Esty who put it up, and I requoted it. And in her post, I think she mentioned something to the effect of, hey, listen, if you're hiding behind a fucking fake avatar and a fake name, and you're up here doxing people, and you're up here trashing people on their looks and their personal life and their choices that they made in the past and all that kind of shit, then I'm blocking you. There's a line when it comes to freedom of speech here, right? And some people are like, no, freedom of speech is absolutely absolute. No, it's not. Not when it comes to personal boundaries. Personal boundaries are a completely different story. There is no rule, and there's nothing in the Constitution that says that I have to allow you to talk shit about things that you know nothing about and say things that I don't want to hear on my posts. There's nothing that says that. I can absolutely set whatever fucking personal boundaries that I want. You can absolutely set whatever personal boundaries that you're allowed to set, that you want to set. You are absolutely allowed to do that. You are okay to do that. And anybody who gives you shit for it can fuck off. VK, sir, thank you so much. Remember, for 13 months. It's awesome. Thank you. Dude, one thing, like, I've always been very open about this, but I got to a point in life where I felt like I had nothing else to offer the world. I had no reason to, there was nothing, no purpose for me here anymore at all. I made a conscious decision to end my life. That absolutely happened. I was determined. And when I decided that, you know what, I'm not giving myself enough credit. I have things that I can offer. I may not know what they are, but for some reason, there are people in this world who still want me around. I don't know why. I feel like I've done nothing but give them grief, but I don't know why. So I decided I wanted to live. And in that process, one of the things that I learned, one of the things that I realized that fascinated me, that I absolutely, it's a thought that brings me comfort and joy every single time. It's a thought that, and a realization that would have scared the shit out of me before I made this decision. If I was of the mindset of I'm worthless and I want to die, if I was of that mindset still, this thought would have scared the fucking living shit out of me. And that thought, that realization, that understanding is that each mind, every single mind in this chat, every single mind of people that you love, every single mind that walks the earth and maybe beyond, for all we know, I don't know, is its own universe. It is its own reality. I mean, when you factor in the dreams that people have and the fantasies that people have and the fears that people have and the passions that people have, the imagination that they have, the things that they think of that could be brought into manifestation. These things are this comes from an entire universe. And it's a beautiful thing. And it should be encouraged, and it should be fed. It should be nourished. And when you realize that you have literally each person here, there's actually a mathematical odds. There's the odds of you being born, being conceived and born are 400 trillion to 1. That's a fact. 400 trillion to 1. Now, I've Googled it before. I don't have the number in my mind right now, but Google it yourself and find out what your chances of winning the Powerball lottery are in comparison. And it pales in comparison. Your chances of winning the Powerball are significantly greater than 400 trillion to 1. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I am someone who refuses to squander this. But having this understanding has helped me build a self-respect. And this universe in here, I've come to respect and love. I've come to respect and love this universe in my mind. These things that are capable that I'm capable of that I never knew I was capable of. I've learned to embrace my negative thoughts as blessings so that I can at least learn from them, so I can know how to avoid them. These things are, I've come to the realization that everything in my life is a blessing. Everything, even the bad things, are blessings. So having this kind of self-respect and having that kind of respect for other people, and that kind of respect for other people falls under the category of empathy as well. Because if you look at every single person that you're talking to and making eye contact with, and you see the possibility of an entire universe behind their eyes that you can't even begin to envision, that is a wonder to marvel at. That is a wonder to marvel at. And if I look at you as somebody who has these types of you have this universe in your skull happening like a magical snow globe. You ever see those? Like, they always use a snow globe for some reason as like an analogy or a metaphor for you know, for your mind being this entire universe of all kinds of possibilities. It's you know, it's an amazing thing that there is an infinite universe in each mind embodied into this little piece of matter in your skull. It's amazing. So, oh, right on. Cool. JFK and James Jackson crew. I love it. If you have this understanding, and if you are one of these people and I look at you like this, that means that I genuinely want you to take care of that universe. I don't want that universe to go to a dark place. I don't want darkness to take over this universe and cause you to make dark decisions and go down a dark path and affect the environment around you. I don't want that. I want you to be okay. If I am looking at you and I'm looking at your eyes and I'm imagining this entire universe behind them, it actually hurts me if you are hurting yourself, because you have gotten so lost in something that does not affect your personal life directly. Now, I realize that this is the whole logic behind all of this is Karen Reed is any of us, right? Karen Reed is absolutely any one of us. This could happen to any one of us, of course. And that's exactly something to help motivate you to feel passionate about this case for sure. But Karen Reed is not going to hug your kid and kiss them goodnight. Karen Reed is not going to be there cheering on your kid at their soccer game. Yannetti and Jackson are not going to defend your kid when they get into a fight in school and you got to go talk to the principal and deal with the possibility that they're going to have to be suspended. And then you got to teach them about physical violence and what to do and what not to do. That's not going to happen. Because Karen Reed is way too worried about her own shit right now, and she should be. But if you are obsessing over this in a way where you feel like Karen Reed should somehow take a moment to appreciate you individually, something is going on in here that needs correction. It needs adjustment. You will hear me use terms like I had to take a few days to recalibrate. You will hear me say things like this. As a matter of fact, I felt that way today. I was going to go live about something else. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go to the gym. But I also am supposed to take a recovery day today, right? Because I've been going non-fucking stop. And I go non-stop because it is my most effective method in managing my own mental health. Everyone has their own way of doing things. Everyone has their own shit, right? But the thing is I have to carefully make sure that the decisions that I make and the methods that I use to manage my mental health do not affect anyone else's shit that surround me. It's a very, very important part of it. Because this way I get to say the way that I manage my mental health has no fucking bearing on you. So mind your own fucking business and get the fuck out of my face. And it is perfectly okay. Make no mistake about this. It is perfectly okay for you to tell anyone in your life who you feel is toxic to fuck off. That includes situations too. It is perfectly okay for you to just wake up one day and go, this is fucking me up. I'm losing sleep. I'm not eating. My kids are fucking wondering why I seem so absent. It's ruining my marriage. These things, if you are going through these things, it is perfectly okay to tell the Karen Reed movement to fuck off. It is perfectly okay. No, Teal Swan would argue with me over credit and try to sue me probably. Teal Swan's a piece of shit. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. Fuck Teal Swan. I don't like Teal Swan at all. I think that she has this is, and I'm glad you brought her up. She's an interesting one right there. Teal Swan is somebody who I see as someone who went through trauma in her own life, and her way to deal with it is to develop a God complex and recruit weaker minded people to enable her bullshit God complex. Yeah. Boston, thank you so much. Gut health, mental health. That too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's absolutely a cult leader. She's a piece of shit. Fuck her. Dude, do you know how easy it would be for me to take my brand and start fucking writing books and do Tony Robbins shit? If I wanted to fucking do that, fuck all that. I'm not doing that. You know how easy it would be? If I wanted to fucking start a cult, I could fucking start a cult. That's a fact. Anybody here who had the mindset to do that could absolutely do that. It's very easy. It's very easy. If you want to be a manipulative asshole for financial gain, you could absolutely do that. It's not even difficult. It's not even fucking difficult. But the thing is like, I mean, I could market the glarer and be like, okay, and step one, and write a whole fucking book of repetitive bullshit and go, oh, well, step one, you know, gratitude and blah, 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 blah. And then start signing books. And then all of a sudden I'm an expert on fucking mental health. And I never went to school for one fucking day in my life. But I'm not fucking doing that shit. Because I've produced the results. My method works for me. But the thing is, the true understanding of that is understanding that I found a method that works for me. I wasn't depressed and anxious because I wasn't successful. I was depressed and anxious because I didn't want to be, and I didn't understand why. Until I realized that it's okay to not want to be successful. It's just the way I'm built. Learning to accept how you're built. Fuck everyone else's expectations. Fuck everybody else's definition of what you should be and how you should be and what you should be doing with your life, and fuck all that. Your happiness, as long as it's not at the expense of others, is your absolute right. And in a way, it's your responsibility. Because what do miserable fucking people generally do? Miserable fucking people make everyone else around them fucking miserable. And if your misery is causing everyone else around your misery, then you're a fucking asshole. There's no mental health. There's no medical fucking diagnosis there. The medical diagnosis is tried and true throughout all of history is if you're a miserable fuck and everybody around you is miserable because of your misery, then you are a fucking asshole. And you need to either fucking lock yourself in a goddamn cabin for the rest of your fucking life and stay the hell away from everybody else, or quit being a miserable fucking asshole. Figure out how to do that. So I made a conscious effort to stop feeling sorry for myself, even though we all do it from time to time, to stop blaming the world for my problems, to stop blaming God for my problems. Thank you, Susie CJ, for becoming a new member. I appreciate it. Like, I want to be productive for my immediate environment. I want people who are around me to want to be around me, to feel good about being around me, to look forward to being around me again. I like that feeling. But it's real simple. Like, there are people out there who are just constantly causing misery to others. And those people are miserable fucks. And they're assholes. Like, there are people in this case that fall under that category. You have your Kate Peter, right? Miserable asshole. Constantly always looking for some way to fuck somebody up. Constantly. Probably has never set foot in a fucking gym.
But that doesn't also mean if she did it, that the police still aren't.
I mean, and I just choose to make fun of these people. I just choose to make fun of these people. Sorry, that thing started playing in the background like on its own. It was weird. No, I don't have that gift. If that's a thing, it's because I work my ass off to be that kind of person. Every minute I'm doing the work. And it's hard. And some people don't even have to do the work. Some people just seemingly skate through and they're just fucking cool people. You know what I mean? They're just cool fucking people. You know, and it comes easy to them. They're just good-hearted old souls who fucking like Richie Microdots. He strikes me as that kind of guy. You know? Hold on. Sorry. People are saying. Oh, okay. Here we go. Sorry about that, voices. I was diagnosed with breast cancer recently. It has put things into perspective for me on what and who is it truly important, and also what and who's not worth my mental health. Life on life's terms. Right. Like, life is a fucking card game, dude. You're dealt a hand, man, and your hand is your fucking hand. You know? You just do the best you can with your hand. One day the game's going to be over. Period. One day the game is going to be over. Are you going to be able to tell yourself that you played the best hand when the game's over? That's all we can do, microdots. You know, like Olivia, I don't need 2 cherries in here. Thank you. um no, and seriously, I'm glad that you guys are making jokes. You know, I'm not upset about that. Because like I'm trying to be serious here, you know, but you know, and people will do whatever they can to make this entertaining for themselves, and I'm all for that. That's what the chat is for. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's I mean, I go on Twitter and I just see some of the most miserable motherfuckers, dude. You know, and I'm just like, dude, those people are just, but my thing is like those people are just fucking miserable. And you know, like I have the option of just being like, okay, well, fuck those people. You know what I mean? I have the option of doing that. It's like, you know, like Melanie Little isn't on Twitter, right? She doesn't go on, she doesn't have a Twitter handle or whatever. And that's her way of just avoiding all of the bullshit that's going to be on there. I mean, it's everywhere. There's so much hate for Melanie Little on Twitter that it's like, what the fuck? Like, how is that? Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? Because she's outspoken about what her opinions are? Yeah, see, I mean, I'll just insult somebody and move on. That's what I'll do. Because I like insulting people who deserve it. That's no secret. It's an inside job. The outward behaviors are just symptoms of what's underneath. No class to kick people when they're down. Yeah, true. Thank you, Boston. I appreciate it. I ghost Twitter like Karen ghosted Higgins. I mean, listen, man. Again, I'm not a mental health professional. You know, like I'm the guy that's like, man, good luck. Take care of you. Like, if somebody were to drop in the chat right here, oh my God, I'm thinking of killing myself, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope things get better for you. Here's the helpline, which is pinned to the top of the chat right now. Those are who you need to take that to. That's the people you need to take that to. This is not a place for that. I'm not here to counsel anybody. The only counseling that I am willing to give with this live stream or any other really when it comes to mental health is if you think that shit is getting to you and it's affecting your life outside of this community into your personal life outside of the internet, then it's okay to step away. That's all I'm saying. Anybody who judges you for it is a fucking asshole. You have no responsibilities. None. Like, think about it. Imagine right now Microdots just goes, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm done. As valuable as Microdots has been to this movement, right? Imagine if Microdots is just like, nope, can't do it. How would you react? Would you be mad at him because you think he has a responsibility? It's a fair question. Would you be mad at Microdots if he just decided, you know what, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore? Would you be mad at him? Because you feel for some reason he has a responsibility. If that is the case, then you are an asshole. Because every single person, whether they be a creator, whether they be, hell, even Karen Reed, if Karen Reed were to go, you know what, I am fucking tired. It's easier for me to just go to fucking jail. Fuck it. Let them beat me. That's her right. That is absolutely her right. It would suck. I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't regret one fucking second of anything that I've done here. Because I'm not really up here fighting for Karen Reed. I'm up here fighting for what she's fighting for. That's what I'm doing. I'm not up here fighting for Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy doesn't need me to fight for him. I'm up here supporting what he's fighting for. It's much bigger than all of us. But nobody says that you got to do it. That's what a right is. When you have the right to do something, that means you have the right to engage and speak up on it. You have the right to rally all up and down neighborhoods. You have the right to protest outside of D&E Pizza. You have the right to protest and stand outside of a courthouse and go to a standout. You have the right to do all these things, but having that right also means that you also have the right to not do anything. You have the right to not do jack shit. You have the right to go home, sit on the fucking couch, fart into it, jerk off into a napkin, and then fucking go to sleep. Repeat. You have every right to do that. Yes, a napkin. And specifically an Olive Garden cloth napkin. Okay. No, but seriously, like you have every fucking right to that's what I'm fighting for. I'm not sitting here telling you that, you know, and talking about rights. And if you're getting the impression that when I'm talking about rights, it's translating in your mind as you have a responsibility, no. Some might argue you have a responsibility. As people, as a society, we have a responsibility to do certain things. But, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, this is America. You just don't get to bitch about how things turn out. That's what it boils down to. You have the right to speak up on something, but you have the right to not speak up on anything. You have the right to just sit there and not do jack shit. But here's the thing is when shit goes in a way that you don't like it, then you don't have you don't get to whine and bitch about it. Now you have the right to do that technically, legally, but morally speaking, it makes you an asshole. Makes you a complicit asshole. But if you genuinely don't give a fuck, then don't give a fuck. Thank you, Petty Paralegal, for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. Stifler's mom, thank you so much, member, for 13 months. You have the right to hump an apple pie too. You absolutely do. You absolutely do. You don't have, nobody here has the obligation to do anything. But I'm not going to sit here and let you trash talk those people who stand out there every single day. I'm not going to just sit here and let you trash talk people who feel so passionate about something that they feel like they have to speak up and do something. Not everybody's built to be a hero. But those of you who are heroes, I'm not going to let anybody shit talk you. You know? I'm just not for that. If they got a personal gripe with you, that's a different story. It's got nothing to do with me. But if somebody's trashing you for being someone who feels passionate about their rights and they're standing up for them, and you're standing up for the people who chose to not do jack shit, sit there, fart in their couch, and jerk off into a fucking Olive Garden napkin, then I'm not going to let that guy who's sitting there fucking marinating in his couch farts and his own cum shit talk you for standing out there and doing what he's got to do, what he or she's got to do. Because those people are there fighting for your rights to sit there and fart in a couch and jerk off into a napkin. You don't get to whine about them. You don't get to criticize them. Right. I same here, microdots. I respect anybody who stands up for and even if you're standing up for your own rights. That's why I call Rich Schiffer a hero. Because even if he's standing up for his own rights, when in standing up for his own rights, he's standing up for yours too. And that should be met with nothing but gratitude. Not criticism, not it should be nothing but a fucking thank you. Anybody who trashes Turtle Boy for being arrested. Now, if he had done the things that they're accusing him of, that's a different story. Or if what he was doing was a crime, then that would be a different story. But he hasn't committed a crime. So Turtle Boy going to jail was not only him standing up for his own rights, he was standing up for yours as well. And that's why I will always show him respect as far as that goes. Always. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you have a right to your anonymity, but I'm just not going to listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, there are people, there are anonymous people on the free care and read side too that I get it, you know. But I'm telling you right now, if you start attacking somebody's personal shit under a fake name and avatar in one of my posts and start attacking somebody like Kate Peter or Plevin without having the balls to fucking, you know, like what if I did that? Me with fucked up teeth, right? Totally fucked up ugly grill that people like to point out, right? On Twitter. That's fine. That's great. But I don't want to hear that shit from somebody whose teeth I can't see. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to fucking give you some sort of fucking grace. Why the fuck should I do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. People, oh well, people have a right to their anonymity. Sure, they do. They do. And I respect that. There are YouTube creators who are totally anonymous who I like and I respect. Because they have families, they discuss things that are very controversial, and people will go after their job and they'll go after their family and make their personal lives hell if they don't remain anonymous. But those people, the ones that I do like and respect who are anonymous, they don't take jabs at people's personal appearances. I'm saying say what you want, but don't expect me to give you grace when you don't have the balls to fucking present yourself in a way that puts you in a position to receive the same criticism, to receive the same insults, the same jokes, whatever. Yeah, it's bullshit. That's like I look at Julie Carpenter. I don't take Julie Carpenter seriously at all. Julie Carpenter is the biggest fucking idiot asshole on the internet, in my opinion. Just a complete and total utter jackass. Julie Carpenter will post things and then turn off the comments. Only people who agree with her can comment. That's a coward. That is a fucking coward. When I post something, bring it on. I post something with the understanding that you might have an opinion that is opposite of mine, and you may enlighten me. You may even make me look real stupid. But that's the risk I take by posting something. But this is somebody who talks about an echo chamber in the care and read movement, and the free care and read movement, but literally tries to control an echo chamber with her posts. She just posted this thing about Dr. Marie Russell suing one of her former employers. Okay, so, but she's not going to want to hear. I wanted to comment and be like, so fucking what? And the fuck does that have to do with the case? It doesn't even fuck with her credibility. But then when I go to do it, it's nothing but comments from people who agree with her. And it straight up says, this person only allows comments from people that she follows or whatever. Like, if she was really anybody who's actually trying to educate people and spread what they believe to be the truth, well, then they would put it out there. Let everyone see it and let everyone comment. They would absolutely do that. If they were coming from a place of actually trying to educate people. But that's not what she's doing. What she's trying to do is get pats on the back and high fives for the people who already agree with her. That is an insecure person. And the reason why she was insecure, if I had to speculate, is because she knows she is absolutely full of shit. Everyone can see it. Phelps, too. Phelps is a cunt, too. Phelps is a coward cunt. M. William Phelps, yes. You are a coward cunt. I mean, it's just so funny because they only attract the type of people who think like them. Yeah, turning off comments is a bitch move. It's such a pussy move. See, I love this right here. If the C word bothers you, don't watch this channel. Because you're not going to stop me from saying cunt. I like saying cunt. I enjoy saying cunt. I have a blast saying cunt. I say cunt as much as I possibly can.
You're a little cunt.
Oi, cunt.
You're a magnificent cunt.
I love the word cunt. I'm always going to use the word cunt. And you have the freedom to not hear me say the word cunt. You have the means to not hear me say the word cunt. But I'm not going to stop saying it because I like it. And the people who aren't hung up on that are going to continue to enjoy this channel. I mean, that's it. So if the word cunt triggers you, then sorry, my computer is unplugged and I need to plug it in before it dies. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, you absolutely have the freedom to simply not hear me say the word cunt. It's very easy. You log off, you unsubscribe, and you never have to hear me say that again. So if the free Karen Reed movement triggers you, you can step away. It's okay. If me saying the word cunt triggers your mental health issues in some way, shape, or form, no matter what they are, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, log off, watch somebody else. But you're not going to stop me from saying what I'm going to say. No, I love this. Yes, you can absolutely say cunt. You can say cunt. Everybody here can say cunt. Everybody's allowed to say cunt here. Everyone. So, all right, I'm going to open the phone lines. Because I'm curious as to what anybody's thoughts are here on this subject.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Galera.
What's up, Dina? How are you doing?
No, I'm good, Galera. How are you?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
Well, haven't been. I've been living life not so much online as much as usual. But anyways, I just wanted to call in to say, no one handed.
Hold on. I heard that you have a boyfriend.
Well, yeah, for a while now, Galera. It just wasn't public.
Well, it is now.
Well, it is now, but a lot of stuff comes out in the world, in your personal life. Everybody tries to keep shit secret because of this movement. You know what I mean? This movement can divulge into your personal life and it gets all fucked up. But, shit happens. But anyways, I wanted to call because you know what? We're all out there and we all do this fighting and, supporting and out there fighting for what's right and Karen Reed's freedom. And no one handed us a manual to figure out how you act, what you do, what it means when you talk, the consequences of talking. There's so much learning stuff to do. And some of it's right and some of it's wrong. And at times we just got to step up. We got to take responsibility when we do stuff that's wrong and be better at what we do. But it's kind of hard when people mess up in this movement because the internet world can be unforgiving.
Yeah.
And
it's very true.
That's what I had to say tonight. I adore everything that you do. You're still my favorite person. And everybody out there, we're still in the fight for freeing Karen, and that's all that matters.
Right. And it's okay to have your own reasons for doing it too. Again, as long as it's not affecting anyone around you negatively.
Right.
There's so and I know you're one of those people that is always out there, and you've been nothing but a positive force. And setting a really good example too for like everyone who's out there, and it's inspiring, seriously, and I appreciate it.
Well, I try to, Glera, but I'm a human being like everybody else.
Sure.
I've made mistakes in this movement, but I've also stood up and I've also said sorry where sorry had to go and be put at, you know what I mean, when I have messed up. And the thing about it is the people around me that are next to me, give me a hug and say, hey, everything's going to be all right. Like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have said that or this. But the world out there in the internet world with these people that hide behind these fake identities and stuff, they're fucking brutal, dude. They're cunts. They're cunts out there. And they can be cunts.
They are. And it's okay to call them cunts. It's totally okay to call them cunts.
They are cunts.
They're coward cunts.
I know. Exactly. And it's scary. And I'll be honest, when all this shit went down where I made my mistake.
It blows my mind, Dina. It blows my mind when I see these people on Twitter talk shit about those people who are out there showing their faces on camera, getting on the news, talking about Karen and how important it is. And, everything that everyone's doing, talking to Tom out there and then these people have the audacity to hide behind a fake profile and trash those people. I'm like, those people are out there with 100 times more balls than you, and you don't even have the self-awareness to not even, like if you can't, because I'm the guy that I don't even have, I have an alt channel that I plan on using for something, but it's titled Glarer. It's just not the Glarer, but it's called Glarer. And the only time I ever resort to it is if I get hidden from a channel who's trying to hide from the truth. And I go, wait a second, hold on. And then answer this question. And then I'll get that one hidden too. But I want to make sure that they see it, right? But I don't,
Right.
but you always know if I insult you, it's important to me that you know who it is that's insulting you. That to me is called having some level of integrity, you know. Now is there more
Right.
integrity to take the higher road and not insult anybody? Sure, of course that is. But you know, I'm not known for taking the high road. But I'll take it high enough to where I'll say, you know what? This is me. This is what I think of you. Fuck you. But
Right.
you need to know that it's me saying it. I need you to know that
Exactly.
it's me saying it. You know, if there's no name or face behind what's being said, where's the substance?
Right.
What does it mean? Where, you know what I mean? You're just words on a screen. You're nothing.
Right. And, you know, you have to have thick skin in this game. I mean, all our looks get annihilated. Everybody in this movement has their looks about them
Sure.
annihilated. Instead of coming up with a tangible thing about why we're out there to free Karen Reed and something like that, they just come up with, you know, oh, you got fucked up teeth. I get that all the fucking time, but
Right.
it doesn't matter because they're cunts. They're cunts hiding behind their fake names. But, you know, everybody down here in this movement, it's not like we're all professional protesters or supporters. There's stuff that happens. And instead of it, you know, it just doesn't go away quietly. If something happens, it's highlighted on like that cesspool of Twitter, you know, and it stays there forever and people just come at you so bad. I guess I'm old because it just amazes me how freaking mean people can be. Seriously, it's sad actually. But we're all going to just stay in this fight anyways because we know what the real thing is about it. You know, we need to free Karen and justice for, oh my God, Enrique and Sandra and all of it. And so all you hidden named people, you can keep it coming because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We just take little breaks here and there.
Right. I mean, and all you're really doing, like, let's say their little fucking little hate campaign and their bullying actually affects and drives someone off. Well, cool, you're thinning the herd, man. We don't need those fucking we don't need those thin-skinned people in this movement. We don't need them.
Yeah.
Like if you
I
know
got
what I
it.
mean? Like,
I gotta admit though, Glare, I got a little scared a few weeks ago when all the shit went down with me. I actually, because people know where I live, I had two
see, that's
different
different. That's
things
very
happen at
different.
my house and threatened me. And that's where I really had to step back and take a deep look into, holy fucking shit, they now have come to my home. Like that,
Yeah.
the people out there and that are watching this don't understand how a simple thing out of your mouth can cause people to come to your home and threaten you. That's when it's scary. And
That's another
I've
reason
moved
why.
past.
That's another reason why you guys that are out there doing these standouts and showing your faces and speaking out and not hiding and disguising yourselves or anything like that, you know, that's why you deserve more respect than any of us creators, anybody, because you're out there, you know, doing it. Now, Turtle Boy's the exception because Turtle Boy, like, people know where fucking Turtle Boy lives. He's not stopping. You know, people know where he
Right.
lives. They know they send fucking pizzas to his house when he's on live streams and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he's you know, just as much as at risk as anybody else. And for some reason, you know, and that's what really bugs me is the all of a sudden everyone hating Turtle Boy because he's abrasive or because he's rude or, and it's like, okay, man, so he's not the nicest guy in the world. So fucking what? You know what I mean? But he's
Right.
he's doing a lot, and he's putting himself at the same risk as anybody else who's out there. He is.
Mhm.
I mean, he everywhere the guy goes, people recognize him. And a good number of those people are people who don't like him. I've experienced it myself. I was there by myself, just fucking. I was there, just having drinks with Lauren, and she was like, and some guy walks by and was like, "Told Turtle Boy he's a bitch," and I was like,
Yeah.
"You tell him." You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
and it's like, I mean, so people who get so upset and they make this thing because you look at somebody like him and he's not only getting grief from his haters, but he's got to watch his back from his inner circles too. There's rumors that
Mhm.
Kate Peter has planted people in his inner circle and blah blah blah, and he's, whether that's true or not, he's got to assume that it's true, and he has to act and behave in a manner in which it's true. He has to assume.
Right.
So
Right.
it's funny to me that people are just like, "Oh, Turtle Boy's such a piece of shit," blah 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 blah. It's like, all right, well, maybe he says things that are offensive. Fine, great, awesome, and you're offended by them, but you don't get to act like he's just out here grifting, because he's subject to the same risks as anybody else who goes to these standouts and stands outside of the courthouse, if not worse. I mean,
Yeah.
so like,
Well, if it wasn't for Turtle Boy, none of this would have been exposed like it was. He's the person that started it. So regardless of whether you like him, you hate him, you don't, whatever, he started this.
those are going to
The
be my
people
next
that are
words.
in this.
Yeah.
Well, great minds think alike, Clara.
Well,
But,
and it's not just that. It's just that, like, there's things that are, and then there's the way that you perceive them. And if you put your fucking ego aside, you're going to see how things are. And again, you may not like Turtle Boy in the way that he does things, but the bottom line is what you just said is you wouldn't even be aware if he didn't go out there and put his fucking ass on the line,
Right. And also, like, look at the poor people in Canton. I mean, the people that are in this movement that have spoken out and holding signs, and they live in Canton. Holy shit! They go, all of them. I mean, they've really taken their life in. It isn't even public, all the shit that they go through. It's not. And that's another thing too with it. The people that are out there protesting, the world doesn't exactly know everything that goes on down there. Like when people drive by, if you're standing out
Dina,
there.
I'm sorry. Listen, keep talking. Just, if I don't respond right away, I'm listening. I can hear you. I just have to step away for just a second. But please keep talking.
That's fine. That's fine.
I can hear you. I just might not be able to respond right away.
Yeah. So the people in Canton, when they're out protesting and stuff, people are driving up saying hateful things to them. People have had, when they've done standouts, they've had their tires, fucked with, and their cars fucked with. And, the world doesn't know every single thing that's happening within this movement. They can make assumptions about what they think is happening, but the full 100% truth isn't always out there. And people should take that into consideration, about the people in the whole movement, and the internet can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing, and when you make a mistake, you find out exactly how mean people can be.
And you have to be able to take the bad with the good too,
Yeah.
That's just the way that is.
Yeah.
And like it's just, it's annoying. Like I'm trying real hard to like not air out my grievances with other people on this platform. And that's the easy thing to do, is to just, put it all out there and then bitch and moan because drama fucking draws people and they love it and blah blah blah. But the thing is I know why I'm in this, and it doesn't do. There are people in this community. There are people in this community who are fighting for the same thing that I'm fighting for, who I just don't fucking like. That's a fact. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. People that I simply just don't fucking like. And it took me a while to even reach that conclusion and that opinion about those people. But I'm not going to air them here because it doesn't do what I'm trying to do any good. It doesn't contribute to what I'm trying to get done. It doesn't help. It would be selfish. And it's not, you know what I mean? Like, what good is it going to do if I sit there and I start trashing this person and blah, 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 blah. It benefits me for that moment, because people will be like, ooh, what's the glare talking about? The glare's got a problem with somebody? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing it. I cannot oblige you. I'm sorry. Because it doesn't do what I came here to do. It doesn't contribute to what I came here to do productively.
Right. When like everybody knows there's all these elephants in the room about all the shit that happened. And, I like, with me, I talk, like, I'm not afraid of a lot of things. And, the first thing you want to do is get out there and defend yourself and speak of where you, like me, myself was thinking when shit happens, but I refrained from doing that because who am I trying to appeal to? You know what I mean? I know what happened. The world doesn't need to know what happened. You know what I mean? But with a platform like you have, if you like, say there's people in this movement I don't like neither, but I still greet them and I respect them. You know what I mean?
Sure. Because you're doing, because you have a similar mindset, in the sense of you have this, you have the same objective. Right.
But if I had a channel like yours and say I call somebody out like that, that leads to the whole world of who watches you to go after that person. Like, they don't even, sometimes people don't think for themselves. They like to just engage in drama, like, that are out there, and the keyboard warriors out there, and it can be unfair sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be unfair. The internet's it's an ugly place, man. The world's an ugly place, but it's also a beautiful place. And you can make the world beautiful for yourself, or you can make it a fucking miserable fucking cesspool for yourself and be miserable all the time. And the internet's no different.
Exactly. But anyway, I won't hold up your lines too much more. Just a few things, Glariz. The next time you're in Boston, please come to Monday Night Dive Bar.
That's if I'm there on a Monday.
But... Well, I hope you're going to be there on a Monday at some point. But and just stay the beautiful freaking human that you are, Glara, because you are a beautiful human, and this movement needs you. And, and that's the God's honest truth. We do need you, Glara.
I think
from the heart.
I think the movement just needs, people saying a lot of the things that I'm saying, and people coming from the place where I'm coming from. It doesn't necessarily need me, is the point. Just like it's the same as like microdots. Microdots is vital to putting out information in this case, and does it in such a creative manner that just captivates you. So it's extremely important. But at the same time, he is under no obligation to do what he's doing. None whatsoever. The movement does not need him. It needs what he's saying, sure, but there are a lot of us that are saying it. He's expressing through his own creativity, But that's the thing, is what this community needs is creative ways to get attention on this case. He's doing that, but he, as a person, as an individual, as a human being, has every right to step away from it if it's fucking him up. Because what good is he going to be if this movement is fucking him up? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And absolutely it does. And Rich, I mean, Michael Dot's Rich, he's unbelievable. And the movement does need him.
Yeah.
But anyways, he could step away if he wanted to. He'd be sorely missed. But
Right.
the world needs to know, too, is if somebody steps away and because they can't do it no more, they need mental health or whatever reason, just leave those people alone. Don't annihilate them. You know, there's an old saying in drug addiction and stuff is if you can't help an addict, don't hurt them. And the same goes for life. If you can't help someone, please don't hurt them. You know, we're just humans.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, I will end it at that,
you're
Clara, but
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, we
you
are
will always be
at
my
the end of the day, we are just human, you know?
exactly. I'll let someone else call in, but you'll always be my first boyfriend, Clara.
Oh, that's fine. I'll be your side piece forever if you want.
Oh, I'll definitely.
All right, Dina. Thanks for
Take
calling.
care, and I'll see everybody out on the streets when we're out there doing supporting and protesting and all that. Love you all.
We all love you very much, Dina. Thank you for calling. Thank you.
Bye, Clara.
Bye.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Will. It's Nadine. How are you?
I'm well, Nadine. How are you?
I can't even believe I'm talking to you.
Well, you are. I can't believe I'm talking to you, Nadine.
I'm sorry. I just turned you on because I was watching other stuff and I saw you were taking calls, so I had to call in. I'm a Boston native.
Get out of town.
And I am. And we embrace you. Oh, you laughing because you could tell by my accent?
Yeah.
But we love you. You know that, Will. And I know you feel the love from us.
I do. Yeah. And I am constantly grateful for it. I mean, constantly. Like sometimes it even hurts, you know, like in the sense that like it's like because I don't know how to, you know, like you feel like there's a responsibility that comes with it too. And trying to manage that is it can be difficult if it's something that you're not used to. I'm not used to having so much support from one concentrated geographical area. I've never had that before, so it's challenging sometimes.
Overwhelming too.
Right.
Yeah, you seem a little sad and down tonight. And I picked up a little bit Twitter, and I'm not on Twitter, and it's probably a blessing.
No, nobody was a douche to me. I'm glad that you mentioned that because people, and you just mentioned now, you know, I seem sad and down. It has nothing to do with me. It just makes me sad and down that there are people who are being really affected by this case, and their involvement in this case is affecting their lives in a very negative way, and it shouldn't. This should be a positive experience for everyone who is fighting for justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed and Turtle Boy.
Right.
This should be something that we're enthusiastic about and excited about. It shouldn't be something that we feel is this burden in our lives.
Yeah, I think it started with the fundraiser, and that's just so sad and unfortunate, really.
I mean, here's the thing. There's going to be others. There's one. What's up, JFK? Good to see you, buddy. There's one in its conceptual phases right now that I don't know. Now, it's my idea. Now, it turned out that someone else had a similar idea, if not the same idea, just maybe not the same thing that I envisioned. But in theory, what I would like to do is get with this person and a couple of others and make this thing happen. I have never engaged in anything like that before. I have never organized anything like that before. I don't know, but in theory, it's going to be fantastic. But and honestly, it's not one of these things like, oh well, there was the fundraiser and this is for the people who couldn't attend. Fuck all that. Like, if you are butthurt and bitter about this fundraiser because you weren't invited to it, too fucking bad. I'm over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I would not have sat there and cried and bitched and thrown a fucking fit all over the internet over it. If I was not invited, I would still be up here doing what I do and knowing my place in all of this and just continuing to do what I know how to do as best as I can. And if you can't do that, then we are not the same. I cannot relate to you and I'm not going to defend you. Sorry. But this is something completely separate that would not alienate anybody. And at least not justifiably in any way, shape, or at least not unjustifiably. But right, Microdots. I mean, I was just grateful to be invited, so I went. I just went. Like it was the way it came off was like like people. Again, that was an example of me trying to do the right thing with what I have going on here. I don't know how to manage this shit. So if somebody says this is something that you can do to help free Karen Reed, then I'm going to do it. If it's within my power to do it, I'm going to do it because that's how I feel about all of this, is anything that I can possibly do. And I'm not going to be made to feel like shit about it. And I'm not going to be, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to be criticized over it either because, oh, well, what about these people should have been there? Blah, 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 blah. Fucking not my problem. Somebody asked me to do something, I did it. This.
It's such an honor to be invited.
Totally.
And you should have been invited. And it was just her immediate friends, longtime friends, and you YouTubers. And again, I know that there are so many people who have sacrificed, especially the people in Canton. But I mean, even they must understand, or they should at least. I think it was just their knee-jerk reaction. I'm not from Canton, so I don't have a dog in the fight.
Well, and it's annoying because it's like, all right, it's a knee-jerk reaction, but it's like, and I get that it's a knee-jerk reaction, but before you have these knee-jerk reactions, understand what you're talking about first. Understand what you're reacting to first. Have an understanding of it before you can react to it. Because if you don't understand what the fuck it was, then you don't get to really have any genuine feelings about it, do you? How can you have genuine, justifiable feelings about something that you don't know shit about? So that's what made me mad about that on that end. It's like, why am I being shit on, oh, the elites. I didn't ask to be a fucking elite, and I don't think anybody was considered an elite. That's
right.
You're looking at it that way, not me, not anybody who was there. Nobody's looking at it like that. I didn't think of myself as a fucking elite.
No, I know that.
Nobody that I interacted with there did.
It wouldn't have been an intimate setting like it was, and that needed to be done. I mean, it's like, I don't want to use names, but people that I really care about and have met through this wonderful movement, I know they're upset, but even if they stop to think and be like, well, yeah, if they invited me, the number would just keep rolling and rolling. You're talking about 100, 200, 300 people that, if you invited one, you'd have to invite all them. Like Turtle Boy said, we're going to have a great celebration once Karen is acquitted. in this stupid,
there's gonna
ridiculous
be
trial.
a few of them. One of the things that I have in mind is one of those things. I don't think it would be the ultimate one, or maybe it can tie into that one. I don't know. That's these, like, again, it's in its conceptual phase right now. But you know, I've talked to a handful of people about it. I've talked to Microdots about it. I've talked to a couple of other people about this, and what we have in mind in theory is going to be absolutely fantastic. Is question is, I don't really have the self-confidence to be like, yes, it's happening and we're doing it, because I've never done anything like that before. I've never organized anything like that before, and the role that I would be playing in it, I've never done anything like that before. So I'm concerned that, you know, so I, you know, a little scared, but make no mistake that the purpose of it is just to do something within my power that I can do. That's more. If I'm in this position and I have this role as somebody who is liked and appreciated and respected in this movement, then I want to use that role in a productive way that can help Karen Reed and Turtle Boy in any way that I can. And this is an idea in which to do that.
So when you say this, you mean that it's like all public is welcome type of thing, or still limited?
I mean,
and you
both.
don't have to answer these.
Both.
Okay.
You'll understand once it's because that was one of the issues is we were trying to think of, like, how are we going to pull this off and make everybody happy.
I think
there's
Gillette
only
Stadium
one way.
is the answer. Yeah, Gillette Stadium, right? Am I close? Am I hot?
A venue that big? No. but what I have in mind, it would be a sizable venue, yes, for this event.
Nice.
But not Gillette Stadium, no.
How about Fenway?
Not even close. But,
well, if it's open to the public, I will definitely be there. And I hope to meet you. I didn't get to see you when you came up for the trial, unfortunately, but I've been to many court hearings, protests. I've organized them. I've attended. And it's just, it makes you feel so good. Like you said, you love doing this for Karen and for Turtle Boy, and we all do.
I love doing it for justice.
Good.
I love doing it for justice. That's my whole.
Anybody.
I've never been a part of anything so important in my life, and I'm just trying to do the best I can with it. That's all I'm trying to do. Every single time I come up here, every single time I travel to Boston, it's all I'm trying to do.
Right. It could be any one of us. Any one of us.
Agreed.
Oh, it's so scary when you think about it.
And so what about you? How have you been affected by this? Like, is it, without going into detail, doxing yourself or sharing too much personal information, are you?
No. Honestly, I never even heard of Turtle Boy. And then it came up on my feed when he was talked about he was going to expose, the first episode in April of 2023. And I was hooked like this. And I'm recently retired. So I do have some time on my hands. So it's worked out really well. And it's, honestly, I live, I breathe this case. And Karen, I feel like I know her and all the wonderful people I've met. And
so this has been a positive experience for you overall.
Oh, very, very,
and
very
it's
positive.
not affecting your personal life in a negative way in any way, like your job or your family or anything.
No, I'm retired. So I'm retired. And honestly, I have probably turned 10 people onto this case. If I go to the dentist, if I go to the doctor, wherever I go, the vet, I'm like, so, you know anything about Karen Reed? Everywhere. So I'm very into educating people about it too. But no, it has not affected my personal life. If it has, nobody's told me. They're probably like, as far as, I'm talking about Karen Reed too much, but no, because it has not affected me. It's been nothing but positive.
Okay.
And what I was saying earlier, like,
No, that's
I'm
great.
sorry.
That's good.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Oh, don't
But
be
like
nervous.
I said, that's all I talk about. But I've turned my sisters onto it, my mother, best friends, my old boss, co-workers. It needs to be, the word needs to be spread, because it amazes me when I hear that people haven't heard about it. Or they don't know the details
Right.
like I do. I'm always like, ask me anything. But honestly, the longer this goes on, this case, I'm forgetting things. There's just too much to remember.
Sure.
Really.
The same thing happens to me. I forget people's names. I forget
Oh yeah.
times. I forget certain pieces of testimony. I mean, I watched the trial, I streamed it, but I don't have it memorized. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
Turtle Boy has great total recall. He really does.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's his job to. His credibility depends on it. So, you know what I mean?
True. But it's impressive, because it is hard to remember everything.
Very. Yeah. Very.
I think you're doing a great job.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
You think of course. Do you think Brian Higgins is going to call tonight?
I sure hope he does. But I don't think he has the balls.
Brian Albert must be pissed.
Oh yeah. His boy.
Oh yeah.
His boy slipped.
All right. Well, I have your number locked and loaded in my phone.
All right, right on. All right, Nadine.
I hope I get to meet you one day and talk to you again.
Me too. Thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. All right, I got to step away one more time real quick, guys.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Will. This is Nora.
Hi, Nora. Where are you calling from?
I called once before. I live in Amsterdam. I don't know if you remember me.
I do remember you. Yes. How are we doing, Nora?
Oh, awesome. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Well, I'm glad I made it, because I've been like in and out of the kitchen and then calling, and it's another one. You know the drill, right? It's a little bit of a challenge, but I'm glad I made it. I do have a question, and I believe and I trust that you are going to be honest with me.
Okay.
You brought on the subject of Crime Weekly YouTube channel. Was that because of my post on the group earlier today?
No.
Because I posted for the first time.
I'm not even on Facebook, so I wouldn't even know what group you're talking about.
I was watching you earlier, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the weirdest thing ever, because I watched Crime Weekly for a long time now, and they just started doing the cover of the case for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed. And I was thinking to myself, I like the coverage so far. I think Stephanie Harlow is an amazing, for me at least, she's amazing how she represents all the facts.
She is. She's incredible.
Yes. Right. I mean, Derek, don't get me wrong, I see a lot of comments even on my post on Facebook that I made earlier today. He can get on your nerves. But I also try my best to keep an open mind, because what I wrote on Facebook is that she is the storyteller. She is the one that does all the research. So I believe that he comes in, like raw, like he doesn't know maybe a little bit of any case that they cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that you're what you said about them earlier. I think they, for some reason, they frustrate you, right? But I have nothing to do with it, right?
Well, no, yeah, no, you did not have
Okay.
anything to do with it.
I was like, oh my God, I don't know, like, is this something that everyone is thinking? Because I can see the comments, and he was on some kind of a show, like, I don't know what it is, what it's called on the comments. I don't really engage in the comments so much in any platform, to be honest, like Facebook and Instagram. I don't have X or even Twitter before that. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's our responsibility to remove ourselves from any situation that we think that we cannot handle.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of the point of the stream, is just if you can't handle it, just it's okay to walk away. It's okay to take a break, or just simply just say fuck it and move on. It's okay. Like, it's not worth your mental
Exactly.
health. It's not worth your mental health, and it's not worth your relationships. It's not worth you know, your personal life going to shit. It's not worth it.
To be honest with you, and I'm just gonna throw this out there, I saw this comment from the lady earlier about even the Johnny Depp. I think this was like the biggest coverage for any case after COVID, and I think a lot of people got into true crime even during COVID. Like, it doesn't matter
Sure.
if you liked true crime before, but watching it on YouTube, realizing that there is a lot of channels and even Facebook and Instagram accounts that cover it online. I don't think that was big before COVID. And during COVID, obviously, we had nothing to do, and we got into this world, and it gets personal. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. When you realize sometimes, and just take what I'm going to say with a grain of salt, yeah? It's kind of hard on your mental health, let's just put it this way, when you realize that some of your close friends and even family members don't have the capacity to open their minds to actually do a real research on their own without giving an opinion, because you don't have to have an opinion. This is a fact. A lot of people don't know this. You are actually in no obligation to have an opinion on anything. But when you see some people in your life very close to you having a quick judgment and making fun of something, let's say, you are very passionate about, even though it's not personal to you, it's kind of fucked up, isn't it? When you're so invested, it's
Well,
it's weird
yeah.
in
I
a
mean,
way.
if you're talking about, like, because that's another thing. Like, if you're sitting here trying to tell your loved ones about this case, and they're just like, I don't care. Okay, let it be. Like, let them not care. They don't have. They're not obligated in any way, shape, or form to give a fuck about Karen Reed. Or what's going on with Karen Reed, or this case, or anything. They a lot of people don't even pay attention to fucking politics, man. Even though politics affect us all, it's okay to not give a shit about politics. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Of course, obviously, yeah. But the thing with some people in my life, thankfully, I don't really have a lot of ignorant people, closed-minded people in my life anymore. And I would actually give an example about this. I don't know about your opinion and the chat, but I have a very, very, very personal opinion about the Sarah Boone case, which I'm not going to get into a lot of details. But one of my friends earlier posted something, and I replied, one of my good friends, and I replied to her story on Instagram, and I just commented that I was actually following the case extensively, and she, with an open heart, she actually started asking me, what did you watch? What is your opinion? Oh, this is messed up. I told her, this kind of people that they want to learn instead of just taking one piece of information or two or let's say 10 of them out of 1,000 and just have an opinion. I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
I do. I do.
It's not easy when you're passionate about something, even if it doesn't make sense to a lot of people and it only makes sense to you. And a lot of people would actually look at you like, why are you invested in this? And you said this earlier. You said some of us are just interested in justice. I don't even live in the United States.
Right.
And this case is consuming me.
Right. Because you care about right and wrong. You see something wrong happening, and so you're passionate about it and you're following it. And you know, I have a whole different level of respect for those of you who are located outside of the United States, because this doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. You know,
nothing. No.
I mean, outside of like, if your country follows the example of the United States and you live in a country that follows the example of the United States, the way we do things, if that were the case, then that'd be different. Okay, of course. But the fact is that if you're just simply interested because you're interested, but you know, justice in the United States doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form because you don't live in the United States, that's incredibly commendable. That's something to not take lightly, because that just really solidifies the theory that what's going on here is definitely wrong. If it's getting the attention of people who aren't even affected by this and they're passionate, then that means that that tells me that what I'm looking into is very, very wrong, and that I'm onto something here by being as passionate about it as I am. You know what I mean?
100%, of course. And I will tell you this. I come from Kuwait. I'm actually half Kuwaiti, half Egyptian, but I live in the Netherlands. So I am not even Dutch. I am from the Middle East, and police corruption is a big thing in the Middle East. I think, in a way, that this is why I feel strongly about this case, because I was also affected. My family, some of my friends, of course, not to this extent that I'm, you know, in the Karen Reed case, but it's something that a lot of people from all over the world can actually relate to. When someone so powerful can destroy you and your family, it's a very sensitive topic, and of course, it's your show. I'm not gonna make it about myself, but you get the point.
No, you're good. I get it.
Yeah. So this is the whole thing. Like it's a very big thing in the Middle East, with police corruption, even much worse than the United States. And
right.
Yeah, I think that's mainly the reason I got very interested in this case, and the fact that I love Karen and her confidence. She is unmatched with her strength and her demeanor, whether people like it or not, and her smirking and all of this. I actually fucking love this. I do not want a person that is innocent to show any kind of weakness to anyone. People that understand this will always support her demeanor and her, you know, her character and how she walks with head up, chin up in the court, and how she smiles outside to her supporters. Anyone with some brain will actually notice this.
Yeah.
And she is so humble when she does that, with her arm and hand on her chest and smiles and all of this. I love this for her. Well, as a woman.
And she's like that outside of the courtroom too. I can tell you that firsthand. She's incredibly humble, and she's incredibly grateful, and she's fun, you know, like she's very laid back and has a great sense of humor. And yeah, you know,
and I saw a lot of posts, some people even mentioning that she talks to them with their name, which is incredibly like genuine of her. She actually notices people by name and she greets them by name. That is someone that is actually thankful and grateful. And
Right.
yeah, it's not every day that you see someone like this.
And she is,
going
you
through
know,
all of this.
and there are thousands of people that she can't thank every single one, man. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
of course. I know what, yes, of course. Yeah. No, she can't do that. Well, I have a question for you. I need you to do me a favor and check your DMs on Instagram, because Instagram, well, the system that they have is, if I want to send you something, I cannot unless you see the invitation. And that is basically regarding what you mentioned earlier about every person is their own universe. That reminded me of something I saw recently, actually last October, and I saved it. And I want to send it to you on Instagram. And I think that you are going to really appreciate those two pictures. And I just want you to see it, because it made me, when you were talking about this earlier, I was like, oh my God, I remember this picture I saved. I need to send it to him. And I really hope that you like it. I think that you're going to appreciate it.
okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having my call. And I don't know if I'm going to call again until next year. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and your loved ones and your family and everyone in your life.
And you too, Nora.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Will.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Call from
Sandy.
at any time. You may press star to join the call.
Oh, shit, I lost him. Hit the wrong button. My bad. Yeah, that was a great call. Thank you, Nora, for calling.
Call from
Nikki.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Blair. It's Nikki. Seize the day.
Hey, what's up? How are we doing?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
So, listen, I am on the other side of the country, but have been paying very close attention to the trial and have been for a very long time. And I really appreciate you. Will, I always tell everybody that you are my brother from another mother, because you and I are cut from the same cloth. I promise you this. And whoever, has a problem can basically go fuck themselves. But what I wanted to say is that the infighting and the bullshit that is going on with people's emotions in this case, it's a very emotional case. I get it. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that we should all start acting like animals, Like, grow the fuck up. Whatever your stance is your stance, that's fine. But when you start doing this infighting and bullshit, and I'm so glad that
It's
you
selfish.
feel comfortable, and
It's selfish.
it is complete. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's selfish. But I wanted to commend you because you were able to be vulnerable enough with us, as you always are, and I appreciate that, and I know it's difficult sometimes, but, to call people out on their shit and to also, talk about, your issues as well. I mean, I haven't met a single person that doesn't have issues. Have you?
No.
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing, is like my whole thing about being as transparent as I am about these things is it's part of my exercise in gratitude and being grateful. So
absolutely.
So kind of wearing my heart on my sleeve here is part of this channel. It just is what it is. So this way, I love that I get to do this and completely and totally be myself. This is
right.
This is really, really, it's a blessing that I get to be able to do that. So, part of that to me is putting myself out there and then taking whatever comes with it as it comes. Like, if you want to judge me, that's cool. If you want to hate me, that's cool too. Whatever. If it, I want I want an audience that is going to know what they're supporting, you know?
No, absolutely. And I am the same exact way. Like, you get what you get. I wear my
Right.
heart on my sleeve. If you don't like it, like, this is it. Like, I'm not going to change for anybody. You know what I mean? And I think the reason why this case in particular struck me so deep, I've worked with all different kinds of survivors and victims of all different kinds of abuse. You can't even imagine, for many, many years. But, something like this, is that it could happen to anyone. It could happen to, my sister, my cousin, my whoever, my friend. A cop can pull you over and you don't know. Like, the corruption, it's everywhere. I know it seems like it's only in Massachusetts, but obviously it's not.
No,
You
I
know
mean,
what I mean?
it's here in Tennessee too.
Exactly.
I'm
It's here.
learning more and more about it here in Tennessee, but the thing is I'm not a multitasker. Okay?
Right. Yeah. I
Anybody
know.
who's followed this channel since I started it is like
Yeah.
I stay focused on one case until that case is
Yeah.
no more a thing.
Believe me, I understand completely. But there's corruption here in the Pacific Northwest as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's deep and it's gross, But somebody like Karen, who is strong and pushes back against the system, and and her attitude is like, I know you guys want me to plea. Fuck you. I'm gonna fight this because I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And and I understand that you always have to have two sides, when there's really three, but whatever, two sides of it, you know what I mean? I don't understand why there's infighting. That's so fucking stupid and so immature and, like you said, selfish. Knock it off. Like, get back to why you're really here. Who the fuck is showing up at Dina's door? First of all, I want their name, I want their number, I want their license plate. I may
Right.
be on the other side of you don't fuck with my Dina, okay? Like,
Yeah.
we love her. Leave her alone, first of all.
Facts.
And whoever did what they did to Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy is like Howard Stern to me, and I don't listen. I stopped listening to Howard Stern a long time ago, but I'm very appreciative of Turtle Boy, and I believe in his work and the
Right.
amount of effort that he puts into it and the reporting, because he's boots on the ground knocking on doors. He's the reason why we all know about this case.
Yep.
So and why she has so much support throughout the country, not just and in other countries, you know what I mean? And if it wasn't for him breaking this wide open, so yeah, if he's an asshole, okay, he can be an asshole, you know what I mean? He's a little rough around the edges, but he's honest about his work, and that's what I appreciate. And you're honest about what you do, and I just wanted to let you know that from one asshole to another asshole, I appreciate you.
Right on. Thanks. I appreciate it. I don't think you're an asshole, by the way, Nikki, just so you know.
Well, you don't know me that well yet, Blair. Just wait, Will. Just wait.
But see, I'd have no intention to. So therefore, my image of you is always going to be intact because of the boundaries I set. See the luxury in that? Isn't it amazing?
I do. I appreciate that. I really do. And you know what? I was just talking to a friend of mine this weekend, and I'm not going to get into the details, but basically I said, listen, if you have a problem with somebody else, everybody needs to lay all their cards out on the table, because when you lay all your cards out on the table, then there's no lies, there's nothing to hide from. Everybody knows how the other person feels, and then you can either move forward or separate. Do whatever it is you're going to do, but at least be transparent.
Right.
At least let your feelings be known, because if not, there's always going to be like a little like resentment or curiosity or whatever may be, So these keyboard warriors hiding behind everything, you know what I mean, think that they're invincible and that they're untouchable. And to go as far as to call somebody's job or show up at their house or, fuck with them like in real life, that's not okay. That I draw the line.
It's not okay. And there's really nothing you can do to stop it. But, you can protect yourself from being butthurt over words. That's the most you can do, which is just fucking block people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes you get tired of hitting the block button. Today I went nuts doing it. I put up that post and it attracted a whole bunch of trolls. And I was just like, look how easy it is. Block, 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 block. You know, like I don't need to hear shit from you. Like you're the
Right.
one who feels the need to say something to me. What if I take that away from you? What then?
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
are a nameless, faceless cunt that I never have to hear from again.
Exactly. But you also are taking that power into your hand by doing that. And listen, I have 3 adult children, and what I've always told them, even to this day, is you cannot control what people think, do, or say, only how you respond to it.
Exactly.
You know, and
Exactly.
that is life. So if somebody's
That's
getting
life.
butthurt over words, separate. Goodbye.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of my face. Go. And I'm
It's
Gen X.
so easy.
I'm Gen X, so we are the fuck your feelings generation, you know, where it's just like, go, there's no safe spaces here, you know, like just deal with it. You know what I mean? Rub some dirt on it, move on, or fix it, you know, do whatever it is you have to do to keep yourself safe, but fix it.
Sure. Right. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to be like, you know, you need to stop doing this, you need to stop doing that. I'm saying, like, listen, if it's getting to you, like, there's no crime in logging off. You know, there's no
Right.
crime in stepping away. It's you just because fighting for Karen Reed's freedom is the right thing to do, it doesn't mean that it is your obligation to do it either.
Right.
You can just I mean, you have to protect yourself first. What good are you? What good are you to this movement if you're falling apart?
Listen, you have to
You know what I
take care
mean?
of number one, right? You have to
Totally.
take care of number one. You always
Totally.
have to take care of number one, because if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. So always, there's nothing wrong with self-care. There's nothing wrong with putting up boundaries and letting people know, I'm showing you the boundary, don't cross it. And if
Right.
you do, well, I'm a Leo, so I cut that shit right off, and I'll never talk to you again. I don't have
And
a problem
that
with it.
affords me, by doing that, that affords me the luxury of not being the asshole in that situation. Because once I set the boundary, if you're the one who crosses that boundary, guess what? I'm not the asshole. You are. And that
exactly.
And then I get to call you an asshole without any guilt whatsoever.
1000%. Well, I just wanted to tell you that I love you and that I'm proud of you. And one day I hope to maybe have a cup of coffee with you. And, you know, once I'm over wherever, who the fuck knows. But in the meantime, I am cheering you on from the other side of the country. And I don't care what anybody says. You're always going to be my brother from another mother.
I love it.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Jesus Christ. Oh, God damn it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Jesus. All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Call from.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
This is Marcy. How are you today, Will?
Who's this, Marcy?
Yes.
Hi, Marcy. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I think it's fabulous that you share your mental health issues with with people. I suffer with those myself, and I think it's great that you're so open with it.
Now, I'm
so
very
happy
careful
to
in
see
how I word that. I prefer to
Mhm.
use the word struggle rather than suffer. I
Okay.
used to suffer from it, but
Right,
once I developed a method to manage it, I simply struggle with it because it doesn't go away. It's not.
You're
There's no
absolutely
cure
right.
for it. You just have to figure
Mhm.
out how to manage it.
Exactly. You're absolutely 100% correct on that. But I think it's good that you educate people. You're not ashamed of it. That you share with people, because so many people are just need to understand, like you said, it's a struggle, and you need to learn how to manage it. And kind of with you, that medication is not always the best. Working out, like you said, or finding your
It's
happy
not for
place.
everybody. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
like sometimes, man, if building Legos is how you do it, then
Exactly.
do it more if you need to,
Right. Right.
whatever.
Well, that's like, for me, I crochet, right? So that's my happy place. And when I'm feeling incredibly stressed out, I actually do turn on some of you YouTubers, and I listen to you, and I crochet, and that that's just my happy place. That's where I'm at peace, and my downtime. But anyway, I just think it's fantastic that you share that and you're so open. And as far as Karen Reed goes, I just don't understand how anybody. I came into this will thinking she was guilty. I was like, there's no way
I
they're
did
going to
too.
press charges against this lady,
I did
and
too.
she's just an angel and completely innocent. This is crazy. And I would only hear little bits and pieces, on the news, and so I thought, I'm going to watch this trial, because this girl's crazy to think, oh, here we go again. The police, that's the first defense for everybody, right? The police messed up the investigation. So I thought, oh God, here we go again. And I sat down and listened to the first, I don't know, Brian Albert and then a few others. And I went, wait a minute, something weird's going on. And then the trial just went on and on and on and on. And I thought, okay, this isn't proving innocence, but this is
You're
all
sitting
this.
there waiting for the prosecution to present a case, which they failed to do.
Right.
Like, okay, we
Right.
get it. It was snowing. Okay.
Right.
And
But it's all the coincidences that were just so backwards, like, just, I don't know. And then, it was as crazy as it can be. I was like washing dishes one day and went, well, wait a minute. When she backs out of the driveway, her her tail light lights up on that car. And I mean, understand, I was, as a layman, coming into this completely blind. And that was kind of my first thing. I'm like, wait a minute. Her tail light's red and I went back and looked at a tape, and I'm like, okay. And then the inverted video, that's where I absolutely went the other direction. I'm like, this girl, I even sent her a message on one of the Facebook pages that supports her. Karen, I am so sorry. I came into this thinking you were crazy and guilty, and thinking you were going to sell a story of poor police work. But I
right. I
really
mean,
do think you're being framed.
you're talking to a guy who has made so many bad relationship choices
Right.
that,
Right. Well, me too.
like,
Yeah.
right, and like, I've been the asshole, and I've dated women who were the asshole. And
right.
when I the second that I hear a story on the news about a woman who got drunk and allegedly ran over her Boston police officer boyfriend, immediately my thought is like, oh, she's a psycho hose beast twat who decided to fucking kill her boyfriend because she was butthurt over something and handle her liquor. Immediately, but I'm real careful when I look into cases. Even though I may be thinking that, I still maintain a narrative on my channel as best as I can of, let's look at all the facts until proven guilty. And then as I looked
Right.
into it, as I did it live here, and I looked into it, I was like, I don't know.
I
More
know
and
that,
more
and
and
you
more,
do.
I was like, yeah, this is, and all I did was just look at, and this is pre-trial.
Right.
You know, so I'm looking at
Mhm.
I was looking at the spreadsheet that Sleuthy Goosey put together, and I was putting together. I was looking at statements, I was looking at reports, seeing how all these things just didn't add up, and I was just like, oh,
Right.
no. Then
Right.
Turtle Boy gets arrested, and I'm like, that can't be a coincidence. This guy who's being the loudest voice on about this woman's innocent, now all of a sudden he's been arrested. And 2 days after I just had a conversation with the guy here live, I'm like,
Right.
so, and I'm not saying that had anything to do with it. What I'm saying is the timing worked out in a way to where I was already like, I don't know. And then I talked to him, and I was like pretty convinced at this point. And then he gets arrested, and then I'm like, okay, I need to look into that. And as soon as I looked into his arrest and went over his charges, I was like, yeah, this is all shady as fuck. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Right.
happening, and they're not even trying to hide it. Like, I mean, you put out, it's public record. His charging, the charging documents were public record immediately.
Right.
And it's on the news. And so I go and I look into it, and I go over every single charge, and I check the timestamps that the charging documents provide with the video titles, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy. They're framing his ass too. The fuck?
But you know, that absolutely blew my mind. You know, the Better letters, and I was like, oh my God, maybe they're just going to throw in the towel and drop everything and, you know, just go away with their tail between their legs or something. And the fact that they just keep fighting it, it's like, how dumb do you think we are?
Right.
How stupid do you think the public is? I mean, we can, you know, you have somebody like me who has completely made a 360 watching the trial. I mean, I watched the trial. I didn't hear
180,
the
but yeah.
pre-trial stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was completely I thought for sure she was innocent. She was guilty. And sat down and watched the trial. I didn't see any pre-trial stuff, so I don't know. I mean, I did know that the feds were involved. But to me, I was thinking, okay, well, if they're involved in something, if she's innocent, they would have done something. This wouldn't have even gone to trial. So that's how my mind's thinking. And then just as the trial went on and on and on, and the evidence just doesn't match up. And then I didn't see his arm until the trial, and I didn't see any of Officer John O'Keefe's, any of his autopsy photos, none of them. And I'm like, well, what is that? That's a dog scratch on his arm or something. Well, wait a minute. This, it doesn't make sense. It just like, he didn't get hit by a car. Where's the bruises? Where's the broken bones?
Right.
So it just,
it didn't add up.
Slowly. And for me, it was a very slow unfold because I was still stuck back thinking, I didn't know anything about Morrissey. I'm thinking the DA is never going to let somebody take something to trial if they can't win it. They can't win this. And then when the jury didn't come back in 30 minutes, I'm like, they have someone planted in the jury too. They're that crazy, because I thought, how did they not come back in 30 minutes and say not guilty, reasonable doubt, And that's what's so scary about
I mean,
all of
and a
this
lot
is
of
how-
that, my theory on that, a lot of that was just, this was an insane show. Like the trial itself was such a farce. How could you possibly really expect the jury to come back immediately with a not guilty verdict, or a guilty verdict, even less? But even still, it's like there's too much to process. I kept saying that during jury deliberations, people were like, why haven't they come back with a not guilty verdict? This is so simple. It's like, you have to understand, these jurors don't know what we know. They haven't been following this the way that we have. This to them, from their perception, there's just a big mess of nonsense that just took place over the last fucking God knows how many weeks. and they're
Right.
they're trying to assess it. You know, it's
Right.
insane. Like this person here is saying, I was nervous when I saw the glare was going to going to look into this case. I was already following, but will actually looked into it 1,000%. I was so glad he did it live the way that you did. It was perfect. Now that was that. I'm glad I did that too, and that's the reason why I highlighted that, was because I was really glad that I did that too, because everyone saw me in real time coming to my opinions. I didn't reach any opinions that I reached in this case outside of this channel. Like, everyone saw me reach my opinions the way that I did. They saw me entertain, play devil's advocate over and over and over again. And I am definitively, without any doubt in my mind, that Karen Reed is absolutely innocent of this crime.
Oh, I would 100% say, in fact, she's not only not guilty, she is innocent. And, you know, to me, guilty is like, okay, well, you know, reasonable doubt. To me, she is innocent. She is 100% being framed. There's no doubt in my mind. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick call and let you know that I do appreciate everything you do. I really enjoy your channel.
All right, right on. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Marcy.
All right. Well, you have a Merry Christmas, Will, and just keep doing what you're doing, because it's working for you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Call from
Denise.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Glara, this is Denise.
Hi, Denise.
And hi, I'm from Wayland, and I am the girl that stands out over the Bass Pike by myself.
Over the where? Over the what?
Massachusetts Pike,
Okay.
Route 90, all by myself.
You've called before, haven't you?
I did. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah. I'm struggling. I've been doing it since January 29th. It was the anniversary of Officer John O'Keefe's death. I park on the street, and it just so happens that the person I park in front of is a Boston police officer.
Okay.
He comes out and he talks to me often, but not a lot. I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. I talk to him once in a while. I have had the police come to me 4 times already. I had the Mass Police take my picture, which was pretty wild, because I made a new sign and it says Fire Proctor, and they came by, and I actually got excited about it.
Yeah, because
there's
no threatening undertone there or anything, that they would take your picture simply because you said you had a sign that said Fire Proctor. Like, Jesus, come on.
It was exciting, because what they do is they came down in the passing lane and they looked up at me, and I saw them call in. And another cruiser, like 5-10 minutes later, came down on the slow lane, and they took my picture. And then another 10 minutes, they came down in the passing lane and took my picture again. And I don't have anybody to talk to, because I'm alone, and that's why I'm struggling. I've had people show up and help me when I put it out there, but I go during the heavy traffic time, because there'll be bumper to bumper traffic, and I'll stand out there because nobody can come to me, because there's so much traffic. It's hard to get to where I am. So I understand all that, but it's been almost a year. I'm cold. I'm tired. I'm having family problems. My family are police officers, and they think I'm crazy, and I am crazy. I'm getting to the point where I really think that I'm cuckoo, and I just am having a hard time doing it. I don't know. I'm struggling.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been listening since I started this stream, then you should know. I mean, that's what you've got to look out for as number one. I could see there's people in this chat that really appreciate everything that you've been doing, but it's not worth your mental health. and it's not worth your personal relationships either. You know, everything that you're doing is appreciated, but you're in no way, shape, or form obligated to stand out there and do what you've been doing. You know, if you're struggling and you feel like you need to take a break at least, then do that, and know that nobody with any sense of integrity is going to criticize you for it, you know?
Well, you know, it's funny because I don't, like, when I go up on the bridge, at first I get nervous because it's a bridge and there's a lot of traffic. But then it
Right.
calms me, and I feel like I'm doing something that's worthwhile. I'm passionate about this. I've done things in my life that I've been passionate about.
Can you maybe think of something else that would be helpful to the movement that is not getting in the way of your relationships and affecting your personal life? Is there anything that you
Well,
can
yeah, I
think
mean,
of?
I go to some of the other ones, you know, I'll go to
Okay.
some of the other events, but I think it's because I have a family member that just had a stroke and I'm trying to take care of them.
Mhm.
And so I think I'm just overwhelmed. So I know that I have to step back, but
Sure.
I feel kind of guilty because the people who see me every week, what are they going to think? Oh, she just stopped going. Isn't that weird that I think that?
It's not weird that you think that. It's not.
I think that's
It
really
might be unhealthy, but it's not weird. So it's perfectly okay to step away and take care of yourself. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And the only reason I suggested maybe finding something else within the movement to do is so that if being part of this brings you some sort of peace in your life, maybe you can balance the two. But if one is affecting the other, it's probably not a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
Negatively, I mean.
Right.
And so you know, it's okay to step away. It's okay to take a break. It's you know, there's not going to be, I promise you that there's not going to be anybody of a healthy mindset that's going to notice that you're not there and go, oh my God, where is she? How dare she? There's no supervisor that's going to
Oh, I
give
know.
you
I
a
feel
demerit for not showing
right.
up. You know what I
Right. I
mean?
feel
Like,
like I'm so important, and I'm
it's
really not important.
no,
Right.
you are very important, and what you're doing is very important. But you got to understand, though, you're part of a number of people that are doing this as well, and it's hard because you're out there by yourself doing it. Is there a possibility, maybe, that because you also said that you're out there by yourself and you don't have anybody like-minded to talk to? Is there any way that maybe you could meet up with some of the others who go to the um to the standouts?
I do. I've gone to Dedham. I've gone to the courthouse. I met you at the courthouse. You know, like I've been to a lot of them. I'm that dedicated.
Okay.
But I just feel so overwhelmed right now, and I
Well,
feel like,
yeah,
you know
then
what? It's cold. It's like I think I'm just burnt.
it's
I'm
okay.
burnt.
It's okay to feel that way. You're human. It's totally okay. And what you
Yeah.
should not be feeling is guilt in any way, shape, or form. So, in my opinion, personally, if meeting with these people at the other standouts and having the camaraderie with other people, like-minded people, is helpful to you, then great. Make time and go to these events that take place, and make your presence effective in that way.
Right.
But nobody says you got to stand out there and be by yourself and be cold and you know what I mean? Don't do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If you're not enjoying this, don't do it. You know what I mean?
I think that's I feel like I just want to make it to January 29th and say I did it for a year. You know, I did it for a year and then step back. But I also see that some of the other people in the movement that are at other, you know, standouts, that they're starting to step back too. You know, I do see that, and I do. I can't. I got to get rid of the guilt. You're right. That's what it is. I got to pen the name, and I got to say I got to get rid of it.
Right.
That's it. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally
Yeah.
okay. I mean, you know, and yes, there's gonna be there's here's the thing is the people who are again who are not standing out there because you know they're pissed off at Karen Reed, or they're pissed off at Turtle Boy because Turtle Boy isn't showing them any appreciation, or Karen Reed didn't invite them to an event, or blah blah blah. Those people are in it for the wrong reasons anyway. And so no matter what, those of us who are in this for the right reason, if we continue to talk about this and we continue to spread the word, then we will attract people who are going to attend for the right reasons. Scott McGinnis is out there no matter what. And happy birthday, by the way, Scott.
Actually, I have to tell you, I have Scott McGinnis's standout form, and I put him up on the bridge with me. So he actually stands out with me every time.
I love that.
He doesn't know it, but you know,
I love that.
There was his picture, and I tie it onto the bridge, and he's my go-to guy. You know, so happy birthday to him. Yep. So, well, thank you. I appreciate. I don't want to hold any more time. Let somebody else do it and talk to you. But thank you. I just needed to hear you say that. I appreciate you. And amen. Thanks.
Right on, Denise. And I wish you all the best and enjoy yourself, you know.
Thanks.
Take care of you. You're good. I promise.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks, Claire.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good one,
All right.
Denise.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, folks. That's going to be the show for the night. I know it's not what you guys are normally used to, but I felt it was necessary, and I feel really good about how it turned out. So all of the callers, man, you guys are amazing. Thank you, guys. And for those of you who I think I highlighted all of the super chats and whatnot, but I may not have been able to actually talk about them and go over them because I had callers to talk to. But I appreciate everybody and everything that you're doing in you know, I'm not telling anybody to stop supporting Karen Reed. That is not what I'm doing at all, not even close. I'm saying make yourself number one priority, because you're not going to be any good to anybody if you are not at your best. So it's important to take care of yourself. What's the point of fighting for if you're fighting for your rights and your own well-being? Well, what good is it to put your own well-being at risk? What good does it do to sacrifice your own well-being in fighting for your own well-being? Does that make sense? So you know, it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to put yourself first. It's totally okay. But if you are in this for yourself in the sense of clout, because you want to be recognized or you want to matter in some way, you already matter. You don't need the validation of this movement, you know, or praise that you get online or anything like that. You don't need that. You might think you do, but you don't. You know, we all want to be validated, and validation feels great. It's great, but you know, if you're standing out there at these standouts hoping that Karen Reed acknowledges you in some way, or Alan Jackson smiles at you and gives you a thumbs up or pats you on the back, you know, and says thank you. if you're doing it for those reasons, you're not doing anybody any good. You're not helping anybody, and you're not helping yourself, because guess what? You might not get that validation that you're looking for. This requires an act of selflessness. This requires, for this to be effective, the only way you're going to be effective is if you're coming from a place of selflessness. It's just that simple. You know, willing to put yourself, willing to put to sacrifice yourself, in the sense of putting yourself in the line of being insulted. You know, if you can't handle insults, don't do this. If you can't handle people pointing fingers at you and spreading lies about you, don't do this. If you can't handle, if you're not prepared to, and I'm not justifying it, I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying if you're not ready if you're not prepared to deal with the possibility that someone might try to sabotage your job, someone might try to sabotage your personal life because you're out there on the front lines with your face showing and you're loud and you're holding a sign and going, "Free Karen Reed, fire Proctor, blah, blah, blah," whatever. If you're not willing to take the risk that may happen to you, then don't do it. And it's okay. It's okay. Nobody's gonna go, like if somebody straight up goes, "Hey, listen, I my wife or my husband's job, they're getting sick and tired of this, and it's just not worth it. My kids miss me, and it's just not worth it. I can't do this anymore." Nobody with any sense of integrity is going to judge you for that. Nobody is. You are simply appreciated for everything that you have already done and have been willing to do. That's it. Anybody worth a shit is just simply going to be grateful for anything that you have done. If somebody who stands out there, that's why Sean on the Gulf gets no fucking respect. Sean on the Gulf gets no respect because he demanded all this respect because he has former DEA agent attached to his fucking profile, right? He just expects respect. But the fact is that he hasn't done anything to actually earn it. That's why I make fun of him and make a joke out of him here. He hasn't done anything to actually earn it. He hasn't shown up to Boston to support anybody, sat in the courtroom. I guarantee you that 6 months ago, that dude would have absolutely had a seat in that courtroom. Guaranteed. He hasn't done anything. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's, even if you showed up to a standout once or donated $1 to Karen Reed's defense fund, you have done more than anyone expects you to do. You have done significantly more than anyone expects you to do. By donating just $1 fucking dollar, you have done more than anybody expects you to do. And you have then reached a level to where anyone who feels any different than you, feels anything different for you than gratitude, then they're the asshole, not you. And just for even taking an interest in this case, for simply lurking and watching a channel that is trying to create awareness, by simply watching and lurking and providing a view for that channel, what you're doing now is helping the algorithm put this on someone's news feed. And you're helping spread the word. That much. That much. So you don't have to, you're not obligated to do anything. Anybody in this with any sense of integrity is going to simply be grateful for what you have already done. Anyways, guys, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know it's a late night and I know it's a Sunday. I know people got to work tomorrow and everything. Thank you guys. You got to get your kids up early. You got to get through life. And you took the time to sit here and hang out with me tonight. And it means a lot because this issue has really been on my mind. Things that have been going on within the movement that's just been bugging me. And I felt like I needed to share my thoughts with you guys on it. And it means the world to me that you guys logged on and hung out and shared your opinions and your insights and called in. All of my callers tonight were amazing. Thank every single one of you for calling. It's mind-blowing to me that you guys are this interactive, and I'm so grateful. Anyways, guys, I am going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much. I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.